Hey everybody, today we are talking about The Eyes Are the Best Part by Monica Kim. I really enjoyed this book. The story is about a family whose father just walked out on them and they are trying to cope with the reason why he left and figuring out how to pick up the pieces from that point. Essentially, our main character, Jiwon, is a college student, just barely starting college, and she has a younger sister who is 15, maybe 16, and her mother is very super fragile because of her husband leaving her, and she thought that he would come back, and turns out he's definitely not going to do that. And so she just doesn't know how to handle herself. She doesn't know what to do, and so she constantly is making his favorite foods and staring at the door and waiting for him to come back, and it's just not happening. Jiwon sees how this is affecting her mom, and it starts to affect her too. She starts especially becoming very irritated with the whole situation when her mom, just a few months later, finds this guy, this white guy, who is suddenly interested in her, and they start dating, and the two sisters can see that this is not a good move, that he is just not a good guy, someone who just wants to date Asian women and is not actually wanting to date their mom for her as a person, for her personality and for what she brings to the relationship. Even on the times that they went out to eat together, George would take the family to Asian restaurants on purpose so that he could check out the waitresses and everything. And so he was really a dirtbag. And so, of course, her mom is blind to all of this. She's just happy that someone is willing to look at her and, makes her feel like she has confidence again because someone is giving her attention. This is just really triggering for Jiwon because she can see that this is not good, but her mom is so delicate that there's not really a way that she can do anything without hurting her mom even more, and so she kind of just lets it slide and eventually develops a plan of her own on how to deal with the situation. This story is very thrilling, very fun. It has this very interesting take. Obviously, The Eyes Are the Best Part being the title, it's very much about the eyes and human eyes. Though the idea of eyes came from Jiwon's mother when they were eating fish one night, and she said, "Who wants to eat the fish eye? It's like the best part of the fish." And nobody wanted to because they were like grossed out, and so she ate it, and she's like, so good. So then the next time that they had fish, Jiwon decides she is going to try one of the eyes, and she does, and she instantly is obsessed with the taste of this eye. So obsessed that she starts to become obsessed with eyes in general, like including human eyes, and wondering what they would taste like. And so she kind of goes on this like spiral of dream sequences of dreaming that she's cutting out eyes, bright blue eyes, because that's what George has, and like just eating them. And that is the one thing that I would say is a little bit excessive. It's a little bit excessive because the dream sequences there's about one every other chapter, and there's like 67 chapters in this book or something like that. It's like a lot. And so they're short chapters, but again, almost every other one is a dream sequence, and sometimes you're not sure if you're reading a dream or if it's real, and then sometimes you're like, well, this definitely isn't real, and then sometimes it surprises you and that it is actually real. And so I think that we can definitely tell and get the point that she is having nightmares and that she is constantly having this idea of taking people's eyes, and like that is haunting her dreams, making it hard for her to sleep. I don't think we needed it as often as we got it. I think we only needed that a few times, and it seems like it was happening a lot. And I think that, I don't know, there was another way that she could express those thoughts in Jiwon by just having them be her thoughts while she was awake as well, which does also happen, but but again, it's just so much in the dreams and the nightmares that we get all these scenes and stuff that I just wanted to stay more in the present. So that's like my only gripe about it, is really that it could have done without some of those sequences being in there and just focusing on like how she was actually feeling when she was awake. And then I think I would have liked it more. But I still really enjoyed it because it is just like, it's just a nice fresh take for me. I don't really read a lot of horror or thriller books and stuff. A lot of times I try to just save it for October, and then I'm kind of just is out of my system for the rest of the year. And so when I saw this one though, it's a lovely cover, and it like just super intriguing. Just the title. I know you're not supposed to judge a book by its cover, but I'm sorry, it's really easy to do sometimes, especially when it looks like this. And so I thought that it was a really great idea to just be reading about eyes being like so amazing for this character, and that it leads her to do some pretty crazy things. And the ending is also something that's like, okay, that it makes sense. That kind of helps tie in some things about Ji-won and why she is so troubled. But at the same time, the like actual ending, you're like, oh, so it's not just because of this one thing that she was being so troubled. And so it's like a trick ending almost. Like, you'll understand if you've read it probably what I'm trying to say. But I really thought that it was interesting the way that the last part took a turn, and I was actually quite satisfied with the way that it ended it. And I like being in the perspective of Ji-won. I love following her character and seeing what she's gonna do and seeing what she thinks about other people and about George and her plans that she's cooking up to essentially deal with this man in a way that is satisfying for her, to get him out of her life if possible and out of her mom's life. And just the way that she goes about coming up with these plans, it's just like there's like this risk factor that someone's gonna like foil her plans. She's very just like even though she has plans, she hasn't thought all the way through them, so they're not going to be foolproof. And so it's like every time you're reading it, you're like, oh my gosh, is this going to work out for her? Is someone going to ruin this for her? Is she going to get caught? And all these things. And so I really liked following her as the main character. I thought I would love to have another book of her. So yeah, if you have read this, if you've read The Eyes Are the Best Part, then let me know what you thought. If you haven't read it, I think if you're into these kind of styles of books, I think you're gonna really like this. So yeah, thank you so much for watching. I appreciate you, and I will see you in the next one. Bye.